All right, Ian. So what's the main thing you want to work on in this lesson today?
I'm hitting a lot of shots thin, and I'm getting a big hook when I do, and even when I don't hit it thin, I sometimes get the hook. So
Okay. So you want a little bit more solid contact and kind of prevent it from going left.
yeah, I just want a little straighter and better contact.
Okay. And what other sports do you play?
I play hockey, baseball, just mainly golf though.
Okay. And have you always kind of hit that shot shape, or is that kind of a recent thing?
I've always hit a hook, but it's gotten worse.
Okay. And does it start at the target and go left, or does it go to the right and then hook back?
It starts basically right at it, or to the left, and then goes more left.
Okay. So I've played with you before, and I know that you're a good player. So we're just gonna kind of take a look here and see what we can work on to get you a little more consistent, get you to that next level. So why don't you just hit some balls here, and we'll just kind of take a look what you're doing. Okay, so that's kind of the miss that you're fighting.
Yeah, that's exactly the miss I'm fighting.
Okay. I guess you hit just 3 more. I just want to see all the shots that you're hitting here. Is that what club is that?
7-iron.
7-iron? Okay. All right, so we can kind of see by your ball flight that it's a little bit on the low side, which means that you're probably hitting the ball low in the club face. So we'll kind of just quiz you just to see where your understanding is. Now, if you're hitting a shot that starts basically at the target and goes left, where do you think your club face is aiming when you hit the ball at impact?
Well, it's aiming slightly left of the target or at the target.
Okay. And then where's your swing path?
The swing path is probably right down the line or over the line, over the top, going over.
Okay. So that's if you watch the Golf Channel, that's kind of what they say, and that's what most people think, and it's not completely wrong, but just to kind of facilitate your understanding a little bit, basically the ball is going to take off at right angles to wherever the club face is aimed. So we know that you're generally starting it today, and most times right at the target, and usually even maybe even a little to the left of where you're aiming. So that means that impact, your club face is basically at the target or just a little bit to the left. So it's pretty square or a little bit close to your intended target. Now, we know that after it starts on that line, that it's curving from right to left. So what creates that is the differential between your swing path and your face angle. So that tells me that you're actually swinging inside relative to your club face. So if you were actually coming over the top, you'd be starting it even farther left and it'd be just a dead pull. The fact that it's starting right at the target and it's going to the left means that your face is squaring, but you're coming in too much from the inside. And that would explain also why you have a tendency to hit it thin, because if you hang back with your upper body in the downswing, then that's going to drop your center back. It's going to change the arc of your swing so that the bottom is going to be behind the ball, and it's going to make you flip it a little bit to square the club face. And that's going to make a square close club face, low on the face, and start at the target and go to the left. So now we just got to kind of figure out a way to neutralize that, because you're a good player, but you just got to make your misses a little better and a little more consistent so that you hit solid and it doesn't have as much curve on it. So what we're really going to try to do is make your path a little bit more from the outside and get your weight through it so your chest doesn't hang back. So it's going to probably feel over the top to you, but as a natural reaction to that, you're not going to flip the toe as much. So you might actually have a little bit more open of a club face. So we can experiment with that, and then we can experiment with your grip maybe too, and alignment at setup. So there's a lot of different things that can cause it, but we just got to find a way that you can personally get better and figure out what is causing you to do that. So we know what impact conditions are happening, but now we got to figure out how we fix that for you. Okay, so I'm just gonna get you to set up to this ball here, and I just want you to set up, don't hit it, and we're just gonna take a look at your setup. Okay. Okay. Don't move. So we got a foot line that's slightly closed, or to the right of the target. You got your pretty dead on with your arms, and your hips are slightly close, which usually mirrors the feet. So one thing that we can do is we can experiment with your stance, so we can actually open it up a little bit. So we can basically move this right foot just slightly forward. Okay. So often to get out of one bad habit, you exaggerate another motion, and then you kind of find what's in the middle of that, and then you can kind of play with it. So I'm going to just get you to hit a couple shots, and I want you to, actually don't want you to exaggerate, so I want you to even move this foot up a little bit more. So we're just going to get you to hit your shots with an open stance. And, I'm just going to get you to hit like 10 shots with an open stance, and we're just going to take a look at what your ball flight's doing with the spin and kind of go from there.
Okay.
So that's a good sign. That kind of the starting path was about the same, but there was no curve. So that just means that your path now is a little bit more to the left instead of coming in from the inside. Nice again. So it wasn't a fade, but it wasn't a hook. It was a very minimal draw. It's actually a little bit more height too. Well, it's pretty solid there. So far, so good. So we should hit 5 more like that. We'll set the open stance. How's the contact feel? Pretty solid?
Feels a lot better than before, for sure.
And how does it feel? Does it feel like you're coming over the top, or how does it feel?
Yeah, it feels like I'm kind of coming over the top a little there and just trapping it more.
Yeah, so that's what it feels like, but actually it's coming pretty much right down the line, which is nice. Okay, now what we're gonna do, so that's a 7-iron you're still hitting?
Yeah.
Do you have your 3-iron?
No, I have 4
Forearm. Okay, so we're gonna, because we're working on curve, so now we want to exaggerate curve. So I want you to just go back to your regular shot, and with your regular alignment, and just hit the shot as normal. You're gonna hit 5 shots with your 4-iron there. Okay, so that's one of those misses where you hit a little thin. You got hit a little low on the club face there. Better. Okay, so now let's hit some shots, and let's get you with the open alignment again. So again, exaggerate it. Put the right foot in front of the left, closer to the target line, and just make a normal swing. Do 3 more like that. Really exaggerate the open stance. Yeah. Even more. Put that right foot a little. Yeah. There you go. So what we're identifying here as well is that your swing seems to be more, you get more out of it with the shorter irons, because you notice the distance, the gap in your distance as the loft on your club decreases, it doesn't have a big huge gap. Like you're only really going like 15 yards, probably on average 20 yards, going up 3 clubs. So we gotta, I think a lot of that to do is coming in a little shallow and hitting it a little low on the face, so you're not getting enough backspin and enough height to maximize the club. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to get you to hit more down. So let's try to move the, can't see this from this angle, but let's try to move your ball position up just a little bit, a little closer to off your left foot there. Yeah, just like that. Let's try to hit a couple shots like that. Alright, that's nice. A little more height, a little more spin. And a little more distance as well, which is nice. Nice. Exactly the same. So I mean, that trajectory for 4-iron's awesome because you get in I mean, these numbers on a launch monitor aren't going to be always super accurate. Like, I mean, that one was, you could just tell that was well struck, and the numbers didn't really reflect that, but you can tell that you certainly got a good trajectory from that. So what we're going to try to do, so like the whole thing with what we're working on is trying to get basically off your back foot and falling back, and getting actually a little bit more loft on the club face when you hit it. So instead of flipping it, basically, so you're going to compress it with your body instead of trying to flip it and hit it off the bottom grooves of your club face. So now again, going back to the exaggerating part, so we're just trying to identify what's going to work for you. We kind of saw on average you hit better shots when we actually opened up your stance a little bit, especially with the shorter iron. So we're going to continue with that idea, but we're going to even try to exaggerate it more. So I want you to actually try to hit a big slice. Like, I want you to try to start it to the left and hit it way to the right, and just exaggerate that feeling. Dead straight.
A little bit of a draw on that one.
A little bit of a draw, yeah. You definitely don't have a trouble closing the club face, that's for sure. There you go. So to you, that felt like as much of a slice as you can do, and that was just like a soft fade.
Yeah.
And you see, you got a lot better numbers off that as well, right? And I mean, ultimately that's the trajectory you want, though. Like, you want you don't want to be hitting like really low, because then that's going to play to your miss of hitting it thin or even almost topping it. So you know, I think that going forward, if you can, when you practice, at least practice working on the fade, because it's going to get that feeling of getting your body out of the way and getting that weight forward, and kind of prevent you from flipping it, because if you did flip it from that position, then you're going to pull it dead left, and so you're naturally going to kind of hold off the release a little bit and add some loft to the club face when you hit it. So let's just do just a few more like that, just big exaggerated fades. That's nice. How does that feel doing that?
Feels really weird. Feels like I'm just completely slicing.
And that's kind of like Tiger Woods always commented on that, the difference between feel and real. So what you feel like you're doing is not even close to what you're actually doing there. Bad. Although you're trying to slice it there, so maybe that's what you do this year, just try to slice. Oh. See, but now what we're doing is, so even when we hit a dead pull there, I mean, this is for training purposes, so what that means is that now we have a ball that doesn't curve but starting to the left. So that means that you're not coming in from too much from the inside. It means you're actually getting the body through it a little more, and at least letting you have that chance of hitting a little higher in the club face and getting the better trajectory. So so far I think the best return for your swing thought or process was setting up with the open stance. That seemed to help. And to a lesser degree, and just for training purposes, I think doing the trying to fade it is going to help you too, because it's going to get you the right body motion, or at least neutralize the one extreme that you were at and trying to get you kind of in the middle, in between the two extremes. So it's important just always try to exaggerate it. Like when Tiger Woods does a warm up, and a lot of great players, they try to hit a lot of different shots, right? So, you know, the more you can experiment with different curvatures and trajectories, and you're going to get a feeling for where your body has to be, so that you can, if you start hitting a particular type of shot on the course, you can get yourself out of it. So, I think Bubba, not quite as extreme as Bubba, but kind of that mentality. So now, just gonna kind of go back. I want you to hit some low draws. I just want you to go, you know, try to start out to the right and just hit little bullet draws. Wow. So, you know, now it's like you're compressing the ball and the ball's going up in the air and you're finishing your swing, you're not hanging back. And that's just from, I think, getting that feeling and then just going back to your regular shot pattern, and then it kind of transfers over. So not to, like when you play, you're obviously not going to try to hit big fades, but just to kind of get that feeling of it a little bit. And if it can kind of neutralize your tendencies, then that's kind of what we're going to be looking for. So, well, what we can do too, let's take a look at your grip here. So I want you to, you don't have to necessarily alter your grip, but what you can do is just open up your hands and then just rotate that face a little open. Now take your normal grip. So now I want you to just, and then now aim to the left a little bit. Okay, now just take a couple of shots like that with that kind of alignment. You can open it up inside your grip, but don't open your stance a little bit though. See that? That's interesting. So now you got the club face open. So I think you feel it. So then you're trying to square it up, and then you're really rotating the face now. So now open it up even more, and I want you to hit like a Bubba Watson slice here, like it was at the Masters. There you go. Now, see, now you got something here. See, the more you can feel how to manipulate the shot, then you can have confidence that you can pull out any shot. And it's worthwhile to have as well as far as recovery, like from, you know, if you have to hit a bender around some trees, then at least you have that option. So it's good to play around a little bit. So I think so far in review, we've kind of identified that I think your stance gets a little too closed. I think your ball position gets a little too far back. So, you know, like instantly your trajectory went up when we moved it up a little bit, and you got your weight through, which is usually a byproduct of moving the ball up because you have to get to it. If you move the ball back too much, then you have a tendency to hang back and flip because you don't want to get ahead of the ball and block it to the right. So a lot of times it goes down to simple things, is just working on your alignments, because if your alignments are good, then at least you can identify what's actually going on. So I think when you practice going forward, if you can set up an alignment station, so just take out a club, a couple clubs, and I mean here you got a line, but if you can set up a little station like this, so now you know where that ball is in relation to your feet, and you know where you're aligning your body, and then from there you can kind of you can aim the station at a target. So now then you know what's it actually doing. What are you actually doing? Because if you just randomly set up and hit, you don't really know. Am I hitting a pull hook? Am I hitting a snap hook? Am I hitting a fade? But you don't know, because you don't know where it started and where it finished. So setting up this, you can always kind of figure it out. So going forward, I think just set up this station every time. and really work on that feeling of, you know, maybe aiming a little bit to the left and moving that ball position a little up and feeling like you're hitting a fade a little bit. I think that's going to be a big help to you. But I just want you to hit a few more here, just with the alignment station. Okay, now let's go back again to what we're working on. Aim your body along that line, or even bump that shaft a little bit so it aims to the left a little bit. Yeah, yeah, and then just follow that line and move the ball position up in your stance towards your left foot, and then try to hit a fade. There you go. Two more like that. So that's good. What I really like about it is that you neutralize your spin. Like you have, your side spin is pretty much non-existent when you do that. So I think this is going to be the biggest thing. So yeah, just one more shot. Awesome. Okay, so I guess I'll just get you to review. So, because you're ultimately the guy that's got to practice. So, what did you take away from this lesson?
So, my original miss was from falling back, leaning over, and then proceeding to flip, and that gets you the fin and legs.
Yeah.
And to fix that, the first thing we did was we checked my alignment, and I was a little closed. So we opened it up a little, and that helped me come down more on the line than inside.
Yeah.
And then from there we went and looked at my ball position. It was a little further back, which means I got closed down and didn't transfer my weight as well, and that continued to gives that low left miss.
Yeah.
And then by moving the ball up, that allows me to get through the ball without the feeling of having to flip. Yeah. And it also gets my weight through, which allows the ball to have left side spin, go straighter and further because it's compressing the ball and going up higher.
Yeah, so it's awesome. So the first step is understanding. So you understand now. So now the plan going forward is that we're just going to make sure every time you're at the range, and we're going to have a lesson again in 2 weeks, just make sure you set up the station and work on that. And if you work on it for the next 2 weeks straight, then you're going to have that feel a little bit more ingrained. And then we can further experiment and try different things and different drills that are available. We don't want to inundate you with too much information, but just enough that now you have understanding, you have a game plan, so you can work on it, and then now we can go forward from there. All right, well, thanks a lot. Good luck. Let me know how it goes.
Thank you.